Hello and welcome to MDEV 25. I am Ross, here for some creator conversations. I am here with Mondae for some discussion about Coven All Powerful. So, if you could start, Mondae, just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. My name is Mondae. I am a technical project manager by day, indie game dev by nights and weekends. Sleep is something I haven't heard of in quite a long time. And like you said, I'm really excited to be here at MDEV again. We did MDEV last year for the first time, so this is our second time showing and just showcasing Coven All Powerful a year later and just getting player feedback again.
So, speaking of Coven All Powerful, could you describe, for those that are not familiar, Coven All Powerful in 10 words or less?
Yes. So it is a whimsical and chaotic 3v3 arena brawler where spellcasting and enchantments change the game dynamically.
Sweet. Now, what types of gamers might enjoy a game like Coven?
So we designed it. I designed it, and when I was making it, I wanted to capture the memories that I had of playing Super Smash Brothers with my friends and with my brother, and just like the chaos of, Fox and Sheik going at each other in a corner, and you have like quick dodges and shields, but also just like arena brawlers. I really like the game Divine Knockout, DKO, that unfortunately isn't on Steam anymore, but just the chaos of there's all these characters fighting each other. So I think anyone that likes chaos will like these games. Arena brawlers, anyone who likes like fighting games and kind of like spellcasting games. And then we do have like that deck builder roguelite experience. So anyone who likes the aspect of like you can change the rules will like this game as well.
And you have to keep your head on a swivel because this is a 3D brawler. It's not just one plane. You're everywhere, right?
You are everywhere.
Now, if you could talk about that, you've mentioned it a little bit. What are the types of games that inspire you, either for this game or you in general?
Yeah. So for me in general, I actually love third-person shooters, which is not Coven at all. So Division 2 is my favorite game of all time. I have it on every platform. I play it constantly. I just love the dynamic of that game. The other game that I really find myself falling back into is Fragpunk, which is a relatively new game, but I love the aspect of that game. It is a first-person shooter, but those cards make the game different. And so you'll see a lot of inspiration from Fragpunk and Coven and how we do our enchantments. And then I have an 11-year-old daughter. She got me into 2 Point Hospital, which I've never played a game like that before, but I fell in love with 2 Point Hospital. We play Unspottable, which is another game on Steam where you're like trying to blend in, and then when you see an opponent, you punch them in the face, and it is like hilarious. And the punching sound effects in Unspottable are like so satisfying. What else do I play? Yeah, I think those are the main ones. So that really went into like the inspiration for kind of like my passion of games, and then you'll see different aspects of that inside of Coven.
Now, specifically for Coven, is there a release date or a demo date that, like, the demo is currently available? I can attest to that. Is there a next fest that you're going for, a release date that you're hitting? I'm not trying to get you to commit, but I just want to let people know what they should be watching out for.
Yeah, so the demo is live on Steam now. We plan for the early access release of the game to actually hit by the end of this year. We're targeting a Christmas. We want to do like a Christmas kind of like some new enchantments inspired by Christmas, a new world inspired by like a Christmas realm as well to come with that early access. And then full release of the game, we're actually on target to do a full release by summer of next year.
Sweet. Platforms in particular that you're going for? Steam Decks, PCs, other stuff. What are you hoping for?
So Steam Deck PC, fully, that already works as well. We actually have a Steam Deck and an ROG Ally at our table here that people can play on. It also is Android compatible, so it's completely mobile capable already. So I've been playing that. We weren't ready to bring that to MDEV, but I do have it on my phone, and I like play it in the airport sometime. And then the one thing that we are targeting is trying to get on ID at Xbox as well. So hopefully a launch on Xbox by summer of next year if we can.
Sweet. Now, seeing as this is your second time at MDEV, what does being at MDEV mean to you?
To me, MDEV, and why I invested in coming back to MDEV again, it is the perfect opportunity for us to build a genuinely interested community for the game. Coming to MDEV last year, the game was about 9 months into development, so still very early. It was playing through the Unity editor at times because we were still hitting crashes on itch.io at the time. And everyone who played ended up joining our Discord community, joins our play test, gives us feedback, and has really contributed to helping the game get to where it is this year. And so when we were trying to determine what we wanted to do with Coven this year, I was like, we got to go to MDEV. Like, it might not be like, we might not get the biggest publisher names because it's like a relatively new conference and it's like smaller than like GDC and PAX, of course. but I think everyone who plays it at MDEV this year, if they're genuinely interested, will become genuine players of the game long term. And looking towards our early access in December, we need that player base, especially in a multiplayer game. So that's what MDEV means to me. It's like getting our true Coven community built up.
Makes sense. So what would you say is your favorite part of MDEV? Just as a guess. I know that you got to pick, so do what you can.
I'm a sucker for inventive games. I love, of course, the AAA blockbusters. I love like what they're able to do with the resources and the skills that they have. But it's something about seeing a game that like two people on the weekend in their basement put together, and it's a deck builder extraction shooter where you actually have some like survival mechanics, and then at the end of the day you're playing as like a teapot, and you're like, how did you even think of this? But then you pick it up and you play it, and it is like, I wish I knew about this sooner. And so MDEV just offers, I mean, there's like 47 booths up over there, I think there are.
Shout out to Indie Alley, yeah.
Yeah, like there's so many games, and each one you play, it's like, I would have never thought to make that game, but I'm excited to know that this game exists. And so I'm just like, that's why I love MDEV, and I love coming back to it.
Awesome. Any plugs or socials you want to put out there to get people paying attention to you?
Yeah. So I suck at social media, so I apologize in advance, but we do have an Instagram, Coven All Powerful on Instagram. We do also have a LinkedIn space. Our group the group name for ourselves is Uncharted Spaces on LinkedIn, so you can also find us there. We're working on a TikTok. It's not up yet. So right now, if you want to keep up with us, Coven All Powerful on Instagram, and then from there you can link to our Discord as well, which is Coven All Powerful Community.
I would say Monday, I have played the demo, and so I have some experience, although I already know that this game shines in multiplayer, and most of my experience has been in with the bots. So I appreciate that there are bots and that I wasn't completely on my own in the arena. But if for a person that checks out the demo but does not have the group to play with, can you just give a brief description of the bot experience versus the player versus player experience with Coven?
Yeah. So the bots, I will just say frankly, are like the dumbest bots ever. They're really meant to be moving target dummies for you to see like what the range of some of the spells are, what some of the damage is, but they're not any type of competition. I apologize if you died by the bots. Maybe they were competition to some people, but they're not.
They did feel very stupid. I felt all powerful, if you will.
Exactly.
But yes, there was definitely like I bet this is going to get harder against real people.
Yes. So we have been tinkering with that a little bit. So we have two types of AI enemies. We have the bots that you saw, and then we have what we call realm protectors, which are meant to be like a more aggressive, more sophisticated enemy, kind of like the defenders of the realms, like the arenas that you're in. We did put in a solo queue, which spawns a bunch of bots that have a little bit more like advanced AI, as well as those realm protectors. So you can have like a kind of challenging experience. But like you said, it really shines in multiplayer because the bots don't have spells. And the biggest thing about Coven is like you're playing as like all these different spellcasters that can do these different things. So going against a bot who's like always on the ground, they're swinging their sword at you, is a lot different than playing against Arcane Deceiver, who can go invisible and then make the floor disappear, and then at the same time clone himself 15 times across the map. So for solo players, I would say, you can still go in, and honestly, you can like train there, you can understand the characters. But within our community, we are trying to do more. Like we do a monthly play test to try to get people involved. I'm always online and I'm always willing to play. So like you can always like feel free to like, hey, Monday, do you want to play a few rounds? But
I can confirm you have reached out to me when I had an issue. It was very prompt and I was able to figure it out.
Yes, yeah. But the solo experience is definitely something we want to invest in more, especially looking towards like the early access release and then the full release. We want to make sure that solo players have like some sort of experience. And honestly, I've been talking with the team, and that solo play is probably where we could introduce more of like the lore and the story of the game. So that way you understand what it means to become all powerful and what are these realms and all these spellcasters. So we're going to explore it more.
So in talking about a PvP game, the thing that you're always fighting against is the tumbleweed effect. Somebody comes, they don't see anybody, then they leave, and then they never come back.
Yeah.
What has the process been to try to create and build and maintain the community for Coven?
Yeah, so it really started with MDEV last year. That's when we really like invested in the community and engaging the community. We do a monthly play test where we invite people to come and play the game, so that gives you an opportunity to play together. We're also in the process of when you join and you're joining by yourself, there's already like a room code, like many other lobbies. Like you get a code that you can share, but we're gonna make like a looking for a group button that will ping our Discord community saying like, hey, so and so is in the realms looking for a group. So that'll kind of like engage a little bit more. But more than anything, we understand it's gonna be a slow process. Like we're a new game. We try to like, I tell my team like, hey, during the weekends, if you can be online, just like try to like check it out. I make myself as available as I can. But we have seen that the Tumbleweed effect is getting better as we do more of the play test, as the game gets more refined. I mean, we started doing play tests and it was honestly like me and like Rick and like a few other people. So it was like 3 of us. Our last play test had 12 people in it. Like we were like managing lobbies and I was trying to put people in the right spots. So it's a slow roll, but the Tumbleweed is rolling. And we hope that we'll get a more active community as we go.
Awesome. So just kind of switching up gears. So you had talked about there's a variety of games that inspire you. I would say, what in the industry has surprised you recently?
Well, of course, like the rifts, the reduction in forces across the industry and kind of like the reasoning behind it has been surprising. Don't want to linger on that, but I think everyone's been surprised about some of those announcements. But honestly, too, I think it's getting overlooked because there's a lot of like bad energy, but the industry is actually giving us like some pretty interesting tries at new ways to approach these genres. Like Arc Raiders, I love a good extraction shooter. I love a third-person shooter. They took the concept of extraction shooters having to be like grueling and punishing and moment-to-moment tension, and were like, but what if it was a movie? And what if you felt like you were playing a movie at all times? And instead of investing in this like grueling experience, they invested in really sophisticated AI. Like their PvE moment to moment is more tense at times than their PvP. And when you compare that to like Tarkov, that's not like, people avoid ads because it's a waste of ammo. Like you can't avoid the ads in Arc Raiders. And so I've been really excited to see how studios are investing in these genres, but not in the typical way of like, we don't have to build it this way. We can explore different ways to introduce people to the genre. I think Arc Raiders has been a great example of like, you can take an extraction shooter, which people are instantly like, oh, another extraction shooter, and invest and develop differently. And then people are like, oh, this is what an extraction shooter can be? This is amazing. So I've been really surprised with that.
Yeah, I mean, just to put my 2 cents in, I would say 2 things that have surprised me recently. Like experiential storytelling is kind of interesting. So there was a South American game called Despelote, which was what it was like to be a kid in South America around the time of the World Cup. And it was one of those, and like you're just playing in like the area by your house.
Yeah.
But the whole vibe is the place that you were in, and it's not. And I wasn't in South America around the time of the World Cup, but I feel like I got so much more from being there. Just by yelling at other kids and kicking a ball around for a little while. And so, and another one similar to that was the Berlin Apartment, which was a demo on Next Fest. And it was imagine if these walls could talk in Berlin over a course of a pretty turbulent 100 years. Including apparently the future, which wasn't in the demo. And it was one of those things where it was like, oh yeah. I mean, there was the if these walls could talk thing, but you're like, oh yeah, wait, in the game, you kind of can. And so the ability for games to push towards the saying what if and then seeing if you actually could do the thing is pretty sweet. Anything else that you wanted to talk about? I mean, just can you talk about your journey for a little while? Like what brought you to the first MDEV? What's kept you going? Obviously, WGA and MDEV are a volunteer-led organization. I am volunteering to help bring this to you. So shout out to the day job folks out there. But yeah, I would just love to hear the story of how you got to be to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So MDEV last year came after, so I was at Bungie for a time, and I was impacted by the reductions in force that happened, and me and a friend of mine decided that we didn't want that to be our exit from the gaming industry, but we didn't know what our next entry point would be, so we decided to make our own entry point. We created our own studio called Leap of Faith. We spun up 2 titles, Haven, which was a crafting survival game, and then Coven All Powerful, which is like my branch that I continue to spin up. And we wanted to get people in those games. We wanted to make sure that like players think that this is fun early. Like him and I come from project management backgrounds, so we really embrace the idea of fail early and fail often. Like, don't sit here and make a game for 3 years, put it in front of people, and now you've wasted 3 years because they're like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. So
well, also on Steam, you have like a millisecond of attention.
Yeah.
So if you've put years of your life in and you get in the wrong millisecond when Silk Song comes out or something,
Yeah.
like years of work could disappear in a Steam feed very quickly.
Yeah. You launch the same week of Silk Song crashing every platform, and you just don't get noticed at all. So we came here and we were like, we had heard about MDEV. I think like a friend of a friend had told us about it, like, hey, you guys should check it out. And so we came. Both of the games were very early. Like I said, at times we were running the games through the editor because we were like trying to fix things as people were still playing. But both games built a great community. Like, it was a great overall experience. And so I was lucky enough to get another entry point into this industry. So I've been joking around that I'm like indie dev in disguise, because my day job is with PlayStation. I'm a technical project manager with PlayStation, indie dev by night. But I just couldn't let Coven go. And so I was lucky enough that they approved me to continue developing it and things like that, especially because I started it, outside of the Sony ecosystem. But again, like I said before, when we made the decision of what we wanted to do with Coven, I knew bringing it back to MDEV was going to give us the opportunity to build our community even more. And I was like, let's do it. Let's go.
So speaking of community, I think, is Discord your main community mechanism for maintenance and communication? Like you mentioned, again, I'm not the biggest fan of social media nowadays either, so I get it, but I have noticed that Discord creates a smaller, tighter-knit community than a lot of the larger social medias. Do you want to just talk about, not that we need to shout out Discord and they need more attention, but just talk about like what Discord does for you maybe as a person trying to build community?
Yeah, I mean, Discord has been great. I think the main thing that we've been able to do is like focus the community on the messages that they want to receive through like the channels, of course. So we have a playtest channel. So people who want to playtest the game, that's where we put those announcements. They see it, they join the playtest. We have general dev roadmaps. We have like meet the characters of the game where people can just learn more about the characters. So it's allowed us to cater the messaging and interact with the community in ways that like benefit them. And it's not just like spam that they don't care about. And for us too, since we're not like, we've been in development, and development is not always pretty, so we don't always have like the high quality images for Instagram or like a really nice video to put on like Facebook or Reels and things like that. So Discord has allowed us to be in a community that understand gaming and understand that things take time in its development, and put up more rough images and put up like, hey, this is like testing a new spell, and they get so excited about that test that I feel like on Instagram we wouldn't get that same excitement, because it's like, oh, that's not pretty. We have thought about TikTok, because TikTok is also kind of like starting to get more like you can stream development on TikTok, and that's going to start getting popular and things as well. And TikTok is very like, it's global, like, and the reception for it has gone really well. So we've thought about that, and I think we're getting there now with the fidelity of the game. We could probably start investing more into it, but Discord for developers has been able to make us leverage our communication and leverage the community and the channels that we want to communicate with, instead of always thinking about, is it pretty? Is it the most upkept video? Is it the high quality? How many likes? How many metrics? Like, it's just been easier for us.
Well, another thing about MDEV is that, community helps put it together. And without community, we're not a whole lot. Is there anybody that you wanted to shout out or give credit to, as you have currently a little bit of a platform to do so?
As individual people, or as like...
Any way you want, man. Choose your own adventure.
Okay. So I got to shout out my daughter. So she's helped me a lot with the overall design of Coven, which is funny because she's 11. But like a lot of the characters and a lot of the spells are like the mind of an 11-year-old who was just like, it would be cool if this character could fly and shoot fireballs. And I'm like, I think I could make that work.
Crazy Funko Pop that can fly and shoot fireballs. You're like, yeah, we could do that.
We could do that. So shout out Aliana. Hi, Ali. I want to shout out my team, so the Coven team. So shout out Sean Smolin, Victor, Cassandra Tubwell, and Dorillian. And then like my friends, so shout out Rick Bauer, Molly Carroll, Robert Byer III, and Leo Andrade. Like, couldn't have done it without them. Oh, Kareem Griffin, Ariel Everett. Couldn't have done it without them. They're like constantly, I text them all the time, like, hey, do you want to play the game? And they jump on and play. And then just really everybody in our community, like, thank you all for joining our play test, for giving the feedback. I was just telling someone, like, the feedback that we get from the playtest is literally what I build my development roadmap off of. So these characters wouldn't exist unless somebody said, hey, I wish we did have a fairy character, or why don't you have a shadow character? So thank you all for the feedback, and shout out everybody on the team.
Yeah. Thanks again. See you again. MDEV out.